Yeah, but I could get no security thing coming up, right?
Something to hide behind.
We have the bell. Oh, my heavens. Okay. We have been rung in. So, welcome to our beloved sanctuary, as well as to our digital sanctuary on Zoom. My name is Marianne Millsap, and I've been coming to this church. Nancy and I have been coming to this church now for 25 years. I'm the facilitator of the small group ministry, and I also sing with the TP Singers. Many thanks to Mary Beth Noonan, who is our camera point person today, and to Ruth Kahn, who is our Zoom usher. And for those of you who are here in person, we ask that you keep your masks on at all times while indoors. And we'll be taking our masks off while we're up here at the podium. People of all ages are welcome to move around in the sanctuary as they need to, and coloring sheets are available in the entryway. And the children's programming for elementary school age kids will begin today after our time for all ages. As we begin our service today, we acknowledge that our church was built on the ancestral and unceded land of the Massachusetts people. We acknowledge the devastating legacy of settler colonialism and the continuing harm done to Indigenous groups in our community and beyond. May our commitment to justice, equity, and compassion call us to make meaningful, restorative action to honor and protect the land and all her people. We come together to recognize and celebrate the gift of life for ourselves and for all the creatures with whom we share this planet, for the miracle of every breath, with wonder in our joys and compassion in our sorrows. We invite all of you to bring your perspectives, your beliefs and doubts, and all that is unique and wondrous about you into our service in the spirit of love. All are welcome here. If you're new to Theodore Parker Church or are visiting today, we'd love to keep in touch. You're invited to fill out a connection card, which will give you an opportunity to sign up for our weekly updates and help us welcome you. A link to the connection card will be in the chat, as well as our contact information. And those joining here in the sanctuary are encouraged to fill out the contact card you'll find in your pews. That's the bright yellow pamphlet. So we'd like to offer a moment for those joining us remotely to greet those who are joining us here in person. So if I can't see, so if you could please put our sanctuary screen on gallery view so we can see our off-site congregation. Is it up? Okay. Folks joining us on Zoom, we can see you in the sanctuary now, so give us a wave if you'd like. And then those of us in the sanctuary, the camera, as we all know, is right by the clock behind you, so waving too. It's wonderful to be together, whether on Zoom or here in person. We have a truly hybrid service for you this morning. We hope that each of you will find some comfort to carry with you over the week from our service and some challenge for your thoughts as well. We wish for each of you health, well-being, and a sense of peace. We have a special treat this morning with music. Yukiko is joined by one of her students, Lila Mastragimi, who, since the age of 5, has been practicing and studying with Yukiko. So both of us will bring us into worship this morning. We welcome you. And now Robin, who's remote this morning, is joining with the opening words.
Our opening words are from the Reverend Angela Herrera. This is a prayer for a fresh, unremarkable morning, a prayer to bring us to attention before the steadiness of the world. Sunrises and sunsets back and forth, like the rocking of your grandmother's chair. Life coming and going, rising and falling, droning and beating like ancient music. And you, remarkable for your ordinariness within it, and your thinking about it, and your yearning for meaning. You, dependent, spun into the interdependent web, confined to a body. You, independent, conscious, free, and so sometimes also lonely, but unconfined in spirit. This is a prayer for you, for your well-being, your peace, your deep peace, and for everyone you love, and for their well-being, and for the friends we haven't met yet, and for the strangers we'll never meet, but we are closer to them than we think. All of us in the arms of the earth, our mother, with her rocking and singing. Our opening hymn today is number 338, I Seek the Spirit of a Child. Please rise in body and spirit as you are able.
I seek the spirit of a child, the child who meets life naturally, the child who sings the world alive and greets the morning sun with glee. Children are real beyond all art. May I see joy's a gift to our heart. I seek the freedom of a child who loves instinctively, who lights our day with just a smile and shines that light on all we see. Children are real beyond all fears. May I see hope's a gift to our tears. I seek the wonder of a child who sees delightfully, now clowns in cloud, now gold in sun, imaginations true and free. Children are real beyond all lies. May I see faith's a gift to our eyes. You may be seated.
Be seated. And now we'll have our chalice lighting. The words in both English and Spanish should be up on the screen. The Spanish, of course, is in recognition of our support with our sister village in Las Pueblas. I'll be doing the reading in English, and Rose will be doing the Spanish version. And please, write with me. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia. El servicio es nuestra oración. Esta es nuestra gran promesa, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros. Thank you all. Good morning. My name is Rose, and I have the honor of serving as this congregation's religious educator. I have a story for you all this morning, but before I tell it, I just wanted to have a moment of recognition and appreciation for the moving parts of this service and the lay leaders who are making it happen right now. You may have noticed that Reverend Jo isn't here in person. She's recovering from surgery right now and needed to be at home, but you'll see her on video later. We have a recorded sermon. And then Marianne Millsap up here is our worship associate, along with Robin Colgrove, who was planning to be in person and then got COVID, and now he's on Zoom. So there are just a lot of moving pieces in technology this morning. Appreciation to Mary Beth Noonan in the back, who's doing AV. Just wanted to acknowledge the differences and appreciate all who are making it happen. So this morning, I have a story that will be up in pictures up on the screen. And then after I read the story, I'll invite any kids who are here this morning to join me to gather by the door and go through the breezeway into our parish hall for Children's Chapel. This story is called Tiny Perfect Things by M.H. Clark. And it's the story of a very ordinary thing, taking a walk through the neighborhood and appreciating that ordinary moment with as much awe and wonder as we can find, finding all the tiny perfect things in our ordinary life. Here is Tiny Perfect Things. Today, we keep our eyes open for tiny, perfect things. A spider's web that caught the light. A snail that climbed the fence last night. See all the crows up in this tree? I watch them, and they watch me. Here's a red bottle cap and a flower growing through a sidewalk crack and a man with a beautiful feather in his hat. Look, our shadows are holding hands. They walk when we walk, and they stand when we stand. I see a cat on the steps and someone we know. Let's wave hello. Here's an apple way up high, red against the blue, blue sky. And now I see the pale, bright moon. It's getting cold. Let's go home soon. Around the corner, up the stairs, the light is on. Who's waiting there? We found so many things today. A leaf, a snail, a cat, some crows. The world is full of wonders, no matter where we go. Can we go again tomorrow? I wonder what we'll see. The world is full of perfect things when you can look with me. How many tiny perfect things can you find? Well, with that invitation to notice all the tiny perfect things around us, I'm going to ask Michael to lead us in our children's benediction so we can sing our children out to Children's Chapel. Today in Children's Chapel, we'll be learning about the winter solstice and the story that we'll be telling for you all next week on our winter solstice pageant Sunday.
For you shall go out in joy, for you shall go out in joy, and come back in peace, and come back in peace. Blessed be.
Makes me want to join them. And now let's turn to our centering hymn. It's hymn number 4. I brought my spirit to the sea.
Please rise if you are able. I brought my spirit to the sea. I stood upon the shore. I gazed upon infinity. I heard the waters roar. And then there came a sense of peace. Some whisper calmed my soul. Some ancient ministry of stars had made my spirit whole. I brought my spirit to the trees that loomed against the sky. I touched each shimmering careless breeze to know if God was nigh. And then I felt an inner flame that fiercely burned my tears. Upright I rose from bended knee to meet the asking years.
Please be seated.
Our meditation this morning is Slowing Down by the Reverend Manish Mishra Marzetti. In the midst of running from my problems, from myself, from one necessary task to the next, I listen to that impulse within me, the one that reminds me that I could keep rushing mindlessly my whole life, days and months speeding into years, losing all perspective. I am reminded that learning how to rest and abide in you is in part how I learn to rest and abide with me. I need you, source of all creation, as deeply as I need myself, as deeply as I long for comfort, reassurance, guidance, and trust. Your presence feels so distant, too distant, when I am living a life as if it's a marathon waiting to be won. Help me instead recall that slowing down can be just as important, perhaps at times more important, than speeding to get things done. Help me remember, beloved, that the longings of my heart are never satisfied by the sprint, but rather by the slow, languid meander. Help me remember that my weary spirit may be weary because of all my running. I can choose to slow down. Help me make that choice. Walk with me as I make that choice. We share now in a time of quiet, followed by a musical meditation.
Generosity is a spiritual practice in our Unitarian Universalist congregations. And we give to remind ourselves of how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger, much bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and in sacred space. We give with gratitude for all that we have been given, and with the faith that together we have more, much more than enough. Links to donate will be in the chat, or you can take a meditative moment writing out a check and sending it to the church after the service. Ushers will be coming around in the sanctuary to collect an offering from those of us in the pews who wish to donate something more tangible. And as Yukiko shares with us, the offertory music is an offering to sustain this congregation in memory and hope, and will be gratefully received. Thank you. Thank you. The reading this morning is a wonderful poem by Mary Oliver called Morning Poem. Every morning, the world is created. Under the orange sticks of the sun, the heaped ashes of the night turn into leaves again and fasten themselves to the high branches. And the ponds appear like black cloth on which are painted islands of summer lilies. If it is your nature to be happy, you will swim away along the soft trails for hours, your imagination alighting everywhere. And if your spirit carries with it the thorn that is heavier than lead, if it's all you can do to keep on trudging, there is still somewhere deep within you a beast shouting that the earth is exactly what it wanted. Each pond with its blazing lilies is a prayer heard and answered lavishly every morning, whether or not you have ever dared to be happy, whether or not you have ever dared to pray. And now Reverend Joe will be presenting our sermon for today.
Good morning. I'm so glad to be with you, even if only in the form of a pre-recorded sermon. But know that wherever I am, I'm thinking of you this morning. I have a piece of art on my wall that keeps stopping me in my tracks. I got it at General Assembly a few years ago, and it features a quote from Augustine of Hippo, the 5th century Christian theologian. And it says, "Hope has 2 beautiful daughters. Their names are anger and courage. Anger at the way things are, and courage to see that they do not remain as they are." Over the past couple years, I've turned to that quote many times to help me find or keep hope. Anger at the way things are? Check. Got that. Courage to see that they do not remain as they are? I hope so. We cultivate that here together, our resolve renewed to make the world a better place. While I really like and I'm inspired by this quote, I think Augustine is missing something. It seems to me that fueling our hope on anger and courage alone is a quick path to burnout. I would add awe to remember why it's worth it. Awe, that sense of wonder that we feel in the presence of something vast that transcends our understanding of the world. The 20th century Jewish theologian, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, calls it radical amazement, a term that just captures my imagination. Heschel wrote that our religious traditions offer us a legacy of wonder. He wrote, "The surest way to suppress our ability to understand the meaning of the divine," he says, "is to take things for granted. Indifference to the sublime wonder of living is the root," he says, "of sin." Heschel continues, "As civilization advances, the sense of wonder declines. Such decline is an alarming symptom of our state of mind. Humanity will not perish for want of information, but only for want of appreciation. The beginning of our happiness lies in the understanding that life without wonder is not worth living." Heschel continues, "What we lack is not a will to believe, but a will to wonder." I can vouch for this, at least anecdotally, as I imagine that most of us can. When I started getting too bogged down in words and in overthinking while writing this sermon, it occurred to me that I could practice what I'm preaching. I looked at a tattoo I have on my arm of song lyrics, a song by Zoe Toby, where the lyrics say, "Walk in awe more than you run." Okay, walk in awe. I bundled up in warm layers and went outside to lay in a hammock and look up at some pine trees. It took me a few minutes for my thoughts to shift from something like, "It is important that I write this sermon because I need to have something to say on Sunday," to, what is most important to me about sharing a sermon with my spiritual family? My thoughts shifted into the realm of delight and purpose, and pretty soon I was barely thinking at all, just present. Stepping outside of the task-oriented rhythm of our day is the first step. The second is turning our attention to the world around us, just as it is, with appreciation. Awe and wonder can be tapped into in a moment. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote an essay called Nature in 1836, which helped spark the Transcendentalist movement. In it, Emerson wrote this of finding awe in conditions that seem less than ideal. "In the presence of nature," he writes, "a wild delight runs through me in spite of real sorrow. Not the sun or the summer alone, but every hour and season yields its tribute of delight, for every hour and change corresponds to and authorizes a different state of mind, from breathless noon to grimmest midnight. Crossing a bare common, in snow puddles, under a clouded sky, without having in my thoughts any occurrence of special good fortune, I have enjoyed a perfect exhilaration." Awe and wonder are pleasant experiences, to be sure, but they do more than serve as individual enrichment. Awe affects not just us, but how we are with others. Dr. Paul Piff is a professor of psychology and social behavior at UC Irvine, and in 2015 he published a paper called Awe, the Small Self and Pro-Social Behavior. If, like me, you didn't know the word pro-social, it's the opposite of antisocial. Piff and his fellow researchers were exploring how awe affects people, and here's what they found. Piff writes, "Our investigation indicates that awe, although often fleeting and hard to describe, serves a vital social function. By diminishing the emphasis on the individual self, awe may encourage people to forego strict self-interest to improve the welfare of others. When experiencing awe, you may not, egocentrically speaking, feel like you're at the center of the world anymore. By shifting attention towards larger entities and diminishing the emphasis on the individual self, we reasoned that awe would trigger tendencies to contribute to the world in positive and helpful ways. Awe can arise in any moment." Piff continues, "Looking up at the starry expanse of the night sky, gazing out across the blue vastness of the ocean, feeling amazed at the birth and development of a child, protesting at a political rally, or watching a favorite sports team live. Many of the experiences that people treasure most are triggers of the emotion we focused on here, awe." Piff concluded, "Across all these different elicitors of awe, we found the same sorts of effects. People felt smaller, less self-important, and were kinder and more generous. Might awe cause people to become more invested in the greater good, giving more to charity, volunteering to help others, or doing more to lessen their impact on the environment? Our research would suggest that the answer is yes." In a world where the news so often elicits Augustine's anger at the way things are, we need awe to see and appreciate the things around us that are not totally terrible. Radical amazement shifts us to the realm of gratitude, turning our attention to wonder and purpose. Moments of awe and wonder help us sustain that courage to create the world that we'd love to see. When we're young, awe and wonder are our natural states. As we get used to the world around us working pretty much the way we expect it to work, wonder can be dampened by inattentiveness. Thank God we can shift back to awe at any time. Courtney Martin is a columnist for the blog On Being, and she wrote about her experience of reuniting with awe with her toddler, Maya. The blog post's a little on the longer side, but it is just so on point and so delightful. I have to share it, so enjoy. Courtney Martin writes, "My daughter is on the brink of everything. I'm learning so much from watching her, about being proud, about noticing, about all of the senses that I take for granted. She was in the bathtub the other day, splashing around, when all of a sudden she froze, brought one tiny pointer finger to her lips and said, 'Dog.' Amid all of the urban chaos, she heard her very favorite creature, a dog, making itself known. She makes me feel like I'm probably accessing only a quarter of the sensory experience available to me on a regular basis." Martin continues, "I'm also learning about awe. The other day, I brought her over to this obscenely beautiful jasmine vine that has grown bushy and fragrant near our mailboxes. I picked her up and we put our noses right up to the petite white flowers and took in the scent. Then I set her down and she walked over to a jade plant that some neighbors and I recently migrated to a bigger pot. And she leaned over and took a big, satisfied whiff. Jade plants, of course, are many things, but they are not fragrant. And yet, if you had seen her there, neck craned, eyes closed, you would have assumed that she was smelling the most potent thing in the world. Maybe she doesn't really get what smell is yet, but after I let out a surprised giggle, I realized that there is something so moving about a little human smelling a jade plant. She has no reason not to expect it to smell wonderful. She has no reason not to expect everything to be wonderful." Martin continues, "Part of becoming an adult is learning how to lower your expectations of your loved ones, of yourself, of particularly charged moments like your wedding day, New Year's Eve, that long-awaited vacation. There's such wisdom in that. I'm constantly working on my friend Arnold's advice to expect less and love more. And yet, the paradox is that there's something that sort of transcends maturity about being open to the potential pleasure of every single moment. Maya is free of specific expectations, so she approaches the world with only one giant, indiscriminate expectation: delight me. Keys go in mailboxes, and miniature doors open to reveal pieces of paper inside, left there by a friendly person in a funny outfit? Fascinating. Dominoes can be sorted into various sizes of beautifully colored baskets in whichever way I want. Sign me up. Lotion. Lotion is a white substance that comes out of a metal tube, and you can rub it on someone's hand and it disappears, and then they feel soft. Holy moly. The mundane becomes miraculous through the eyes of my 16-month-old daughter. She's rarely disappointed, and when she is, she simply moves on to the next miracle, waiting in a kitchen drawer or nestled in the soil in the garden beds. As she marvels, I'm marveling anew. You know what? Lotion is kind of amazing when you pause to think about it. The Postal Service does sort of knock my socks off. And dominoes, they are so pleasing when you hold them in your hand, the cold weight of them, those little black indented dots. We've discovered that they spin on the concrete floor and make a great noise when Papa propels them from his mouth across the room. Courtney Martin concludes, "Before Maya was born, I once asked my husband John what he was most excited about, and he surprised me by answering, I can't wait to take slow walks with her. This is the guy who runs marathons and prides himself on responding to emails at lightning speed. He doesn't do slow. But he already knew that part of the gift of raising a child is rediscovering discovery, of reuniting with awe. So, beloveds, Hope has 3 beautiful daughters. Anger at the way things are. Courage to see that things do not remain as they are. And awe to remind us of what matters. Humanity will not suffer for want of information, but only for want of appreciation. The beginning of our happiness lies in the understanding that life without wonder is not worth living. Stepping outside from the task-oriented rhythm of our day is a first step. The second is turning our attention to the world around us just as it is, with appreciation. Awe and wonder can be tapped into in a moment. Let us see the miraculous in the mundane and share our delight with the world. So may it be, and amen. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, so with awe and wonder in our voices, let us turn to our closing hymn, number 163, For the Earth Forever Turning, and please rise in body or spirit. And in awe.
For the earth forever turning, for the skies for every sea, for our lives, for all we cherish, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the mountains, hills, and pastures, in their silent majesty, for the stars, for all the heavens, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the sun, for rain and thunder, for the seasons' harmony, for our lives, for all creation, sing we our joyful praise to thee. For the world we raise our voices, for the home that gives us birth. In our joy we sing, returning home to our blue-green hills of earth.
Robin, please be seated.
Do we have the announcements slide? Well, I can't see the slide, but there are 3 announcements. The first announcement is that at 12, there we go. First announcement, we'll have Joys and Sorrows, be led by Michael Johnson. And then after this. And then at 12, there'll be a meeting in the parlor to discuss the Parker Plazuelas project. And then next Sunday, we'll have our wonderful solstice pageant service. Our closing words are from the poem Step Out Onto the Planet by the beat poet Lou Welch. Step out onto the planet. Draw a circle 100 feet around. Inside the circle are 300 things nobody understands, and maybe no one's ever really seen. How many can you find? And our postlude will be the Jardin de Dali by Fauré as a duet from Leila Mosakimi and Shukiko.
Now is the time when we share our joys and concerns. So if you would like to share with us, please come up. Those of you in Zoom land, if you can use your little raise hand icon or just physically raise your hand, make sure I can see you if you need to, if you have something you want to say.
This is a stone of happiness. My son Gregory turned 16.
Oh, happy birthday. Try.
Not gonna be able to do it. Can you put it for Sophie? For Sophie.
For Sophie.
I would like to put this stone in for the thankfulness for the 7.5 years that I got to enjoy Sophie and her love.
a stone in for Sophie and her mom. What?
I would like to wish good health to all of my friends and family who have COVID, and to say that it is really distressing, the turn that the country is now taking in COVID and other things.
Yeah. Stone for all those with COVID right now, both in our community and in the world.
I just want to put a stone in for the concern for my daughter, who is suffering from a serious depression, a long-term condition, but has sort of manifested itself more lately.
Okay, a stone for Cindy's daughter. Thomas.
I would like to offer a stone of concern and thoughtfulness around my nephew and his wife. They are currently separated, and I am hopeful that there will be a change of heart at some point in the new year. They have a daughter together, and I'm concerned for the family as we go into this holiday season. Thank you.
Okay, stone for Tom's family. Is there anyone else on Zoom? It's quite possible I can't see. Oh.
Hi, I have a bit of joy because I'm actually walking again. And I'm also learned that one doesn't progress very fast from recoveries from brain injuries, and that I just have to be more patient than I've ever been about anything before. Thank you all. And I've had a lot of support from the church, and I really appreciate it.
All right, a stone for Jessica. I keep forgetting, please tell us your name. And
Deborah, in the spirit of being childlike, I went shopping with our granddaughter at the Roslindale Market, and got a few things that are going to be surprises, but she whispered to me what I imperfectly heard, that when she gets this present or I get this present, I need to pretend to be surprised.
all right, a stone of joy. Nancy Dale.
Hi, I would like to put a stone of concern in for the rise in anti-Semitism in the world and in our country. And for those of us who are Christian by tradition and heritage and are about to celebrate the Christmas season, let's just all be mindful of this very important concern. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Nancy. Anybody else? I'd like to add a stone just for those joys and concerns unspoken, and thank you very much. Now we'll do some breakout rooms.